Grand Rising, love and immunity, beloveds. Life shall be for life. See, a lot of people don't understand that life is the only governing authority that walks the fabric of life's existence, which is the body, the elemental cellular body. Every living kingdom is a element, a cell, and becomes the image and likeness of that body. So everything that we do inside of these two living kingdoms, whether it be within ourselves or outside of ourselves, you know, the trees, the plants, the animal kingdoms, the mineral kingdoms, they're all the same elemental cellular body as the human body is. So everything is governed by the same governing authority, and it's called life. I came so that you may have life. And how life dies for our sins is by just being genetically life as its own understanding. You are to not call God in any other name. So what you don't understand is right now life has returned back into every living kingdom. You know, there are some living kingdoms that will never be destroyed because they don't have the power and the victory and the glory that we have as a human. Okay, as a mankind. Mankind was made in the image and likeness of the elemental cellular body. Not only were they given eyes to see, ears to hear, they were also given a voice to represent that kingdom. Okay, and there are not many kingdoms that have become in the living kingdom that has the power and the glory and the victory of life like we do. So we are the greatest kingdom that has ever been created on the fabric of life's existence, which means that we are the greatest representation of life's existence until we call it in another name. So today, and happy Mother's Day to all you beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Mother Earths out there. Today I woke up to something that really made me sad, and it really touched my spirit, which means it came into my life as something that I did not want to. You know, it says they send the spiritual forces of evil into your heavenly realm. See, most people don't understand that anything that we call life in another name as, we give access to that spirit to come into our life. So hate, for instance, when people hate you, and the body is just life's existence, and it's the same body that everybody else is living in, they give access to that spirit of hate to come into your life. Okay? And if you don't understand that you are at your head and not your tail, life's existence, you are not protected with life's covenant or life's armor. Put on the armor of God, because God's armor is genetically just life's existence dwelling in this body. Remember, if the word can dwell in your body and it become your only begotten son, life can do the same thing. And this is why it said we were not to call God in any other name, for his word is alive and active. See, life is a word that counteracts anything that cannot exist or live in life's existence. Nothing can live in life's existence but life. Just like nothing can live in death's existence but death. And this is the understanding of life telling you, though I may have to walk in the valley of the shadow of death, life is telling you, right now, in your body of life's existence, I'm living in genetic death. I don't fear you because I've come like Jesus. The spirit of Jesus is the elemental cellular body. It's the spirit which is the son of the living God, or the spirit of the living God, the soil, the seed, and the fruit, which is the genetic makeup of the one who still lives alive and active in that spirit of truth. As long as we live in that spirit of truth, beloveds, life is our genetic makeup. We can be the life of hate right now. We can be the life of punishment right now. We can be the life of sacrifice right now. We can be the life of abundance right now. See, it told us we are not to serve any other God but the living God. See, the only God that is living, alive and active, and that we cannot, as a humankind, kill, steal, and destroy, is the elemental cellular body. And that's the genetic makeup of the only thing that life has the access to be the becoming of. You see, life is just a spirit without the body. So the body is the chalice of life's existence, which is the carrier. And see, many people don't understand this. You can be a carrier of AIDS. You can be a carrier of cancer. You can be a carrier of evil. You can be a carrier of a colonizer. You can be a carrier of an abuser. But everybody right now genetically is in the body of life existence as the carrier of life. So when we call that life inside of us in any other name, for instance, like the government wanted to call me in the name of a species or a race or a citizen or a black person, but my body is not the carrier of those things. That's a belief that someone brought into my life. This is the whole understanding of Ephesians 6:12. I am against the rulers and the authorities of that dark world, because they send those spiritual forces of evil into my heavenly realm. See, as a elemental cellular body, I am genetically a heavenly realm, because I am the body that genetically houses life's existence, which means nobody can call me in any other name, because genetically I was already given the name of life. And someone sending anything else into my life that does not belong there, then the governing authority that lives inside of me can hold them accountable of their sins. Okay, it's called guilt. And it tells us in the book of Exodus and in the book of Numbers, by no means will I clear you of your guilt. See, one thing we cannot do to life, because life can even give birth to death, life can give birth to hate, life can give birth to wickedness, is that we cannot ever let it dwell in the heavenly realm, which is what life carries its existence and life in, and that is the body. Okay, it is the body that is the chalice or the carrier of life's existence. So why would we want to bring anything but life into this kingdom? So this is why it says nations will be against nations, mothers against mothers, daughters against daughters, fathers against sons, vice versa, because we are now living genetically in the valley of the shadow of death. And in the biblical story, it said, I will hate Esau in his mother's womb. Okay, Esau is just genetic death. Once we are walking in the valley of the shadow of death, beloveds, because life is just one existence for our body, anything that comes into our life, which is into this body, can now have access to life's existence. So for a greater understanding of what I'm saying, right now, my body of life's existence is being used to perpetrate and portray myself to be a black person, a citizen. I'm being used as a form of life's existence to create a reality called African American, citizen, citizen, all types of realities. And because those realities do what? They hold people, which is the body of life's existence, in captivity and servitude. What does it do to us genetically? It sends the spiritual forces of evil into the heavenly realm. But we have to understand this one scripture in Ephesians 6:12. It says, I am against the rulers and the authorities of those dark worlds, because they send spiritual forces of evil into what? What represents life's existence? Mankind was made in the image and likeness of life's existence. So that we are living according to mankind's knowledge means that we are not living in life's existence, because if mankind was made in the image and likeness of the living God, which is the elemental cellular body, the spirit, we understand that spirit cannot live inside of a man. Man lives inside of the spirit. And this is why it says you are not to honor flesh, but spirit, because they will become opposing forces. And this is the understanding when you speak in the understanding of Ephesians 6:12, it's saying, I am against those rulers. Why is life against anyone that would send anything other than genetic life into the body? Because he knows that life will take on a different form, is what Romans 12:2 is about. Ye not be conformed to their worlds, ye be transformed and renewed by my mind, because my mind is genetically a organism, and genetically a organism is a form of life for the element, and the element is a form of existence for the organism, which means your body comes in the image and likeness of that life and that existence. So your trinity, Jesus knew this. I and my Father are one. Whether I use my mind, whether I use my body, or whether I use my spirit, I am one in one kingdom, and that is life. He knew this. I came so that you may have life. And because of that, his spirit was genetically the spirit that could enter into those who did not have the spirit of life living in them, because they were held in captivity, in servitude to the spirits of fear, poverty, lack, hate, worry, racism, colonization, all the other spirits that don't use life as its genetic makeup, but they use life as their own governing, which is their governing authority and rulership. Some people use life right now and call it in a different name to hold you in captivity and servitude to that reality. But one thing you cannot do to life is you cannot hold life. If you are the genetic makeup of life's existence, you live solely and intentionally and only for that kingdom. I came so that you may have life. If they would have known I came as the one who sent me, then they would have known that they are now guilty of their sins. See, nothing in which cannot live for life can be life's existence. Beloveds, we saw this in our mother's womb, fearfully and wonderfully made. We saw the body of life's existence being created through us. We saw this. In your mother's womb, fearfully and wonderfully you were made. We saw the blood, which is the element, which is spirit, turned into a cell, and then that cell turned into the eyes of life, the nose of life. This is the whole understanding of the book of Job. The book of Job is literally trying to tell us about this beautiful manifestation of life, or this beautiful image and likeness of life's existence. So in this fourth generation, what is happening is this beautiful becoming, which is this elemental cellular body, is now returning. It is now rebirthing itself anew inside of everybody. And this is when judgment comes upon us. Judgment comes upon us when we no longer can use our reality to hide what we've done inside of life's existence, because the body of life's existence is its own kingdom. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done as in heaven, so on earth. Okay, and the genetic makeup of every mankind is the spirit that formed into the cell, and the cell that formed into the body. That's the trinity of life, the elemental cellular body. And in that kingdom, no one can come into that kingdom but life's existence. Even if life allows death to come into that kingdom, it was life. And this is why it says God is evil. God is these things. God is never those things. It's when we become those gods, is when God will use us according to his will. If something like life comes into our kingdom and we turn that life into death, God is using that kingdom now for death to glorify life again. If we don't die, now, how will life return back into us? Do you get it? So if we stay walking in the valley of the shadow of death, how will life ever return back into us? Because we just turned the body of life's existence into death. This is the whole understanding of, although I may have to walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I don't fear it, because genetically, I'm the body of life's existence. I'm the genetic makeup. See, Jesus knew this. He said, only through me can you get to the Father. See, one thing that mankind doesn't comprehend is that trapped inside of their reality, they have no access to life. They only have, because we can't serve two masters. You can't serve two masters. You can't serve life and death at the same time, because life is the only thing that can give birth to death. So you're now using your life as death. So now you're the creator. I'm not the creator. I'm not the author of that chaos. So many people don't know that when they do things inside of this body, the body is becoming the host, which means the consequence of what they brought into life's existence. So when you know evil people are using the spirit of life to get that power. Remember, they don't have any power without life. They don't have the power to kill you without life. So what they did genetically is they turned their kingdom of life into that carnal mind. Remember, what is the mind inside of our body? It's the cells. It's the organism. Okay? So genetically, when we hurt people, we become that hurt. This is the understanding of hurt people hurt people. Okay? Death begets death. Life begets life. This is the understanding of Deuteronomy 19:21. Life shall be for life, and an eye for an eye. If you can see life through my eye, why can't you see life through somebody else's eyes? If you cannot see that somebody else's eyes were created from that same organism, first in that element, which is in that spirit, that became the organism, which is that life, and then that body became the eyes that life sees through in its existence now, and you can kill off another body, what spirit is dwelling in you? And the word became flesh and made his dwelling, and you made it your begotten son. So some of our begotten sons is no longer life's existence. Some of our begotten sons is now the genetic makeup of death, which means that spirit, you are the spirit in the higher realms. Okay, death is a higher realm spirit. Why? Because you were first once life's only kingdom. You were the body of life's existence. And now this body is walking genetically as life, dying. So now you are the genetic makeup of death. And though I may have to walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I don't fear you. I cannot fear anything in which I did not create. Okay, if I didn't create colonism, if I didn't create hate, if I didn't create wickedness, if I didn't create evil, it cannot affect me. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's not going to be in me, because all bodies are living in an element in a cell, which is life's existence. And we are one whole body called life's existence, which means if anything comes into that heavenly realm, which is into any body, that spirit has access to everybody, because the body is what? Genetically life's existence. So this understanding is the greatest understanding that anybody could fathom, is that you are a heavenly realm. And we don't have to accept colonization. We don't have to accept hate. We don't have to accept evil. We don't have to accept darkness. We don't have to accept wickedness if we are what? Life. Life is the only governing authority that can create evil. So if you are life, why would you let evil enter into anybody? I have given you authority to heal the sick, rise the dead, and to destroy all darkness, which is the evil. How do we do this? What is our Lord? I came to give you life. Jesus knew this. He was our Lord and Savior. He was the spirit, which is the genetic makeup of life. Everybody right now can call upon that Lord. Anytime sickness, sin, death, plagues, pestilence, and disease. If one can be one, why can't life be life? And still, why can't we grasp this beautiful concept? If somebody can force you to be black, and you know this is brown, why can't they just let you be life? Do you understand this? I mean, when you can get this, when you can get life's existence in your hand, and when you can direct the mind of life, who has known me to instruct my mind? Then you are living in the body of life's existence. You are just like Jesus. You have been given the authority to do greater things than Jesus with life's spirit. If you can do it with death's spirit, if you can do it with sickness's spirit, if you can do it with hate spirit, if you can do it with any spirit, why can't you do the same thing with life's spirit? Because you're not willing to die to that reality. You're not willing to die to Caesar's kingdom. I bet you haven't sown a day into my Father's kingdom. When you give Caesar back everything that belongs to Caesar, Caesar's kingdom will fall. Because what you don't realize is that Caesar built his kingdom off of stealing life's existence, which means everything he created his kingdom on does not belong to him. And the minute you give him back what belongs to him, he has nothing but death. And death will eat his ass motherfucking alive with life's existence. Yes, beloveds, I am against the rulers and the authorities of that dark world. The only thing that can be against anything coming into that heavenly realm is life. Because life begets what life. Deuteronomy 19:21 tells us this. Life shall be for life. Harm becomes harm. Hate becomes hate. Life becomes life. And life is the greatest governing authority. Why? Because it creates death. It also rises death back into life. So when we can live inside of that spirit and know how to direct his mind, we also walk in that kingdom. And we can do greater things than what Jesus did. Why? Because we're in a different time than what Jesus was in. In Jesus' time, he can only govern the spirit of life according to how his reality created in life's existence. And the same thing in this present time. We are the present time of life's existence right now, in the making. We determine what the next bodies of life's existences will dwell in. Okay? In this fourth generation, whoever can instruct the mind, which has become the genetic makeup of life's existence, inherits that earth. Ooh, do you get it? If life can turn into death, why can't it just stay life? This is why we were never to call God in any other name. Never. Thy kingdom come, thy will has already been done as in heaven, so on earth. No other living kingdom do you hear them calling themselves in other names. We give them names. We conform them into our understanding. And yet, before we got here, this kingdom was already its own becoming. So how are we going to rename them and call them tomorrow and a year from now something that already was here and that we discovered because we playing colonizers and scientists and these folklore, fairy tale, false prophets? We going to rename something that already was established before we came here, was already its life form and its life source and its own elemental cellular kingdom before we got here. And we're going to conform that kingdom into something now that is going to have to operate in our understanding when it was already an understanding before we renamed it. That's what mankind did to the elemental cellular body. They called it in a different name, although they were made in the image and likeness of something that came before them. So when we don't understand in this fourth generation, when it says, my people, you are going to perish, it's all genetic. See, you can praise all types of kingdoms. You can praise the God of life. You can praise the God of death. But you are only to serve one God, and that is the living God. And there's only one God that can overtrump all other gods, and that's life. Because life can give birth to death. Though I may have to walk in the valley of the shadow of death. Right now, the body of life is dying inside of its own life. And yet you say death is the only thing we guaranteed when we already came genetically in blood. And if you understand, blood is indestructible. So when it turns into death, death is indestructible. So what is the only thing that can save us genetically from death? Life. That's the spirit of Jesus. The spirit of life is the bloodline of the one who is risen in that fourth generation to instruct that mind. They fulfill the prophecy to bring life back into the body. And anybody living in that body at that time in the fourth generation who has not, remember, the book of Numbers and the book of Exodus was telling us what would happen in that fourth generation if we had not done what? Been forgiven of our sins. If we have not let the spirit of life enter back into our Father's kingdom, which is into the body of life's existence. If our spirit has not turned back into what? Life. When life awakens inside of its own kingdom, which is the elemental cellular body, and it has eyes to see what dwells inside of it is not life's existence, how is God going to rise you from the dead if you are genetically death? How is God going to rise you from evil when you are genetically evil? How is God going to rise you from the colonizers when you are the colonizer? How is God going to rise you from anything and back into life if you are not genetically life in that fourth generation? And many people still don't get this beautiful understanding, because the one that they create in, the one that they live in is their own genetic makeup. So if your genetic makeup is being black and you brown, are you really who you say you are? Most people don't understand what a false prophet is. A false prophet is anyone who lives genetically right now in life's existence and calls themselves in any other name but life. Because anytime we give life another name, and life is a form. Remember, did you see the blood turn into a cell, which is life, and then life turn us into a body, a form, a image and likeness? So now, if we use our body of life's existence and call it in another name, we take on that form. That's why you can be a black person and your skin can be brown. That's why you can be a white person and your skin is not white. The devil is a liar. And he's a beast that walks the fabric of us in the genetic makeup of life's existence, teaching us its knowledge. Can't tell the truth to save its life. And many of y'all get mad because y'all want to be black. You're not going to cast me and hold me in captivity and servitude to a word and make that my only begotten son. You see, my begotten son in this body is life. It's not a word called black. And goddamn knowing well that if you even want to tell me according to your color charts, I'm not black. So I'm lying to myself. Now I'm the devil that is becoming a lie. When I can't even process my own truth, now I'm just as guilty as the ones who called me in that name. I'm just as sinful as the people who called me in that name. Today's manna that came upon the elemental cellular body, which is the genetic makeup of life, in the spirit of truth, was life begets life. And when we are awakening to the truth is just life. It has no other understanding. It has no propaganda. It has no motive. It has no agenda. Just like in our mother's womb, it was to form us into its image and likeness. The blood became the cell, and the cell became the body, and we became the kingdom, which is the body of life's existence. It didn't say you're going to be black. It didn't say you're going to be white. It says you are going to be made in my image and likeness. And we are to serve no other God but the living God. And in our case, even in our mother's womb, fearfully and wonderfully made, we saw that it was life's existence. So anybody living outside of that knowledge, surely if you eat from the tree of that knowledge, is doing what? Sending those spiritual forces of evil into you genetically, and doing what to your elemental cellular body? Holding it in captivity and servitude to what? A world of dark entities. You can call them demons. You can call them deities. You can call them spiritual forces of evil, but they are in the heavenly realm, marking other bodies of life's existence with that curse. This is what a cursed nation is all about. Blood is elemental. It's a form of existence. And anything that can enter into that existence will take on a form of life. Is this not what your body did in your mother's womb? Of course. So this is why colonizers can come into your land and take it over and say it's theirs. Because they stole it. The thief will come to kill, steal, and destroy. But who's giving them that right? You did. By believing in their knowledge. There's only one truth. And if you don't understand this life, how will you ever allow it to enter back into your body? How would it ever fight your battles? How will it ever save you when something like disease, hate, evil, wickedness, and darkness and colonizers come into your heavenly realm? Who's going to fight your battles? Because once those spiritual forces of evil enter into you, they're marking you with their life and their existence. They are now the powers and principalities in the higher realms. Surely if you eat of their knowledge, you are going to die. Everything that happens inside of this body is not happening to your words, to your beliefs. They are happening to life's existence, which is your genetic makeup. And as the head, you are the body of life's existence. And as the tail, you are just whatever they have told you to call yourself in their name as. Are you black? Who would use their mind to create a reality called black when your mind is genetically life's existence in spirit and in body? See, that's what a false prophet is. Inwardly, they make you believe outwardly that they are the governing authorities. But inwardly, they are the dark world that the body of life's existence is against. And when you understand, no one can come into life but life. No one can create evil but evil. No one can birth hate but hate. Hurt people hurt people. And life restores life into people's bodies. Jesus knew this. Only through me can you get to the Father. If I'm genetically the spirit of life and you are not, I came to give you life. And only through my genetic makeup can that spirit walk in the fabric of life's existence, which is internally. The kingdom of heaven that lives within you is greater than the one that lives in that world. Because in the world, you see me as black. Inside of my eyes, in the kingdom of heaven within me, these eyes were genetically made from an organism called life and a spirit called existence. I'm nothing but the seed of Christ, the bloodline of life's existence, and the body, which is the chalice of the living God. And anyone that comes into the spirit of life will be held accountable of their sins. Because if you haven't let life come back into your life, how you gonna ever get into the heavenly realm? If I came to give you life, why you not living in my kingdom? Because you don't know my knowledge. My people, you reject my knowledge, I will reject your children's, and they will never return back as my priest. Which means, in that fourth generation, when I rise from your dead ass reality back into this body as the spirit of Christ, and I awaken and see I'm not looking into my eyes through your eyes, how am I going to give you life? You never sold a day into my kingdom. Now I'm going to give Caesar back what belongs to Caesar. Caesar, you can't get to the Father without my spirit. I came to give you life. And what you living in is colonization, evil, darkness, wickedness, hate, racism, manipulation. You're scheming the spirit of life. You're tricking the spirit of life. You're holding the spirit of life in captivity and servitude. You're doing everything but sowing into his kingdom. See, life's kingdom is eternal, immortal, and mortal. It lives forever. But words don't. Words die the same day that life leaves Caesar's kingdom and returns back to the inheritance of his own earth. You are not to serve no other God but the living God. And in the case of this body being blood, it would only be life. It's a beautiful book of life living in each and every one of us. But if you living inside of the colonizers' realities, living inside of their mind, sowing into inside of their Caesar's kingdom, and you ain't ever sold into your Father's kingdom, beloveds, when they Babylon and they Sodom and Gomorrah, or they America, are they realities fall from grace and mercy, I hope you not on their side of the Red Sea, because genetic life cannot be for genetic death. I came to give you life. And if you have not let me enter back into your life as that spirit in that fourth generation, my people, you will perish. Life is genetic. Anything we use our mind becomes our becoming. I right now am told by my colonizers, which are just people who say they create this world. They tell me that I'm black, but even my skin is not black. My skin is a cell. It's an organism called life. That's called a false prophet. And you created a false prophecy into my life. You sent that spiritual force of evil into my life. This is when you learn to call on the heavenly realm. See, life will never let anything walk in this kingdom but life. Deuteronomy 19:21 is trying to give us this understanding beautifully. An eye for an eye. Thank you, Spirit. Ooh, thank you, Lord. If I have given you eyes to see and ears to hear, why can't your eyes see the very same thing I saw in your mother's womb when I created them into my image and likeness? And yet, some people's eyes will never see me as life's existence, because what they created me in their reality was as their belief, as their definition of that word that they became the author and the creator and the creation of. But me, genetically, all I'm going to be is the body of life's existence as the head and never the tail. And when life returns back into me, I will be revisiting for you for your inequity. Well, my inequity, the kingdom I sold into, was life. What kingdoms are you living in right now? Ask yourself this question. Because if you can say it's African American, white, red, yellow, green, purple, you cannot, and you are not, and you shall not ever inherit that earth, because life is the only kingdom that can become. And if it came to give everybody life's existence and your body became the chalice, the holy grail, and you have put any other substance but life inside of that chalice, I will know you by your fruit. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Fearfully and wonderfully made. Each and every one of us are. And if you have not turned it into duality, segregation, separation, rejected it, denied it, kept it a secret from itself, it's not going to hide from you. It's not going to deny you. It's not going to reject you. It's only going to do that in which it was created, give you life. So when any other form of spiritual force of evil comes into your life, the eyes that are going to witness it, seek and find it, is going to be the spirit of life. There is nothing that can enter into my body unless I accept it. And when I know genetically and fearfully and wonderfully made in my mother's womb, that blood became a cell and the cell became a body, sickness didn't create me. Not even a black person created me. The body of life's existence did. And it did not just create me. It created my parents, their parents, and their parents, and their parents, and your children's 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 children's. And here I am, right in the image and likeness of that child that came before me, which is that body of life's existence that came before me. And that body of life's existence that came before me. And in this present moment, I am the chalice of that life. I am the body of that life's existence. So nobody ain't gonna tell me I should be living inside of a word. And that word is my begotten son. Because the body of life's existence is the begotten son that I became the image and likeness of. And my parents became the image and likeness of. And their parents became the image and likeness of. Why in the fuck you gonna have me living in a reality in which I don't even know about my own knowledge? My people, you perish because of lack of this knowledge. And when my knowledge is genetic, and I saw this in my mother's womb, and also when I pre-created that same body of life's existence in my womb, and you got me held in captivity and servitude to a reality in which cannot recreate that same existence and life and body, save me, O Lord. Bind and loosen me, O Lord, for I have given you the authority to heal the sick, rise the dead, and to destroy all darkness. I call upon the Lord of life for this kingdom, for you are my becoming, for you are my daily bread, for you are the omnipotent, all-knowing one. And because I dwell inside of you, I was made in the image and likeness of you. Anything living outside of that kingdom don't have access inside of your body if it belongs to the governing authority. Choose on this day who you gonna serve, because many of y'all don't know you living in realities that have never sowed a day into your Father's kingdom, and you being held in captivity and servitude to Babylon, to Sodom and Gomorrah, to the Americanas, to the races, to the sexes, to the cultures, to the religions, to the casters, to the spellers, to the wickednesses, and to the evilnesses who use the spirit of life to turn you into their followings. And when you ain't following something that can lead you back into life's existence, or let life's existence be led back into you, my people, you will perish for such a time as this, because today is the only day that life can live in this body. What are you living in right now? And yet you calling it in all psychedelic, psychopathic, illusional, scheming, scamming names in which can never honor you, give you life, or fight your battle when anything but life's existence comes into that body. How will life seek and find it when you became the author of that chaos? Many of us think that God did that to us. No, God ain't never done nothing. See, because God can come in many names, but the only one he gonna fight your battle in is life. So if no one has told you this on this day or any other day, grandmas and dad, I come to give you life. And in the spirit of truth, if you are open to receive this message, it's not coming from her. It's coming from the body of life's existence. Remember, as it has already been written, as it has already been spoken, why would I keep silent about something that dwells inside of me? Because I speak in the tongue of life. Is that not what our tongue was created for? Truth. It does not hurt us. It may offend you. It may allow you to see you not governing yourself according to it. But once it enters back into you, so can life. And until you die to that reality and to that colonization and to that evil and those dark worlds and those beliefs and that word that became flesh and became your begotten son, you will never be the begotten son of the body of life's existence. So genetically, for such a time as this, and life is now seeking and finding its kingdom, who's going to become your life? when you are not its living body. Because that what lives inside of you is greater than what lives inside of that world. Money can't give you life. Colonization can't give you life. Hate can't give you life. A black person can't give you life. But the body of life's existence can. It's genetic. Just like hate is genetic. Just like pain is genetic. Just like hurt is genetic. Why can't life be genetic? See, life is eternal. It never dies. And if any one of its seeds ever turn into a bad fruit, it will still prophesize itself. I will not return back unto you void. And in that fourth generation, when it becomes its prophecy again and rises from the dead, which is if you were not a chosen one in that fourth generation, how is Jesus going to return back into you? How is God going to revisit you? My people, now you are going to perish. Right now, you're going to see anybody who leaves the fabric of this earth, the elemental cellular body, they will genetically be perished. You won't see it in the external world. We don't live in the external world. You remember in your mother's womb, what world created you? The blood, the cell, and the body. The eternal, immortal, immortal right. The living God. And anything outside of you is its own governing authority. Do them trees bow down to you? I don't think so. It bows down to life. Let every knee bow before me. Because if you can't rise to my occasion, how are you going to inherit my earth? Again, if no one has told you this on this day or any other day, love and immunity. Much love. God bless.